Working on leads, Matt. I am going to be a virtuoso lead guitar player by the end of 2023, Matt. That's my goal. You got to have goals, right? He shoots, he scores. It's the skating and the shooting. Those are my strengths, Matt.
Big interstate hockey weekend. Michigan playing Michigan State, home and home. Sparties won the first game 2-1 up in East Lansing Friday night. Michigan returned the favor Saturday night 2-1 in Ann Arbor.
The question is, did anybody get the shit kicked out of them in a hallway?
Oh yeah, there were some good fights at the end of the game. Again, Little Bro was trying to kick ass after they got their butts kicked in Ann Arbor again. And I'm sure they were blaming it on the tunnel again, even though they were on the ice. So
right.
After they got their asses kicked, they started fighting again.
Right on. HFR from the floor, mistrade, soon to be reinstated. Matt, we have noticed a trend here, and we're going to talk about it anyway, even though we will get no viewership. Somehow there's still a Twitter suppression algo working when we venture into the area of mRNA Jabsteins. Maybe if we turn it into a Jewish name, we won't see suppression. It's a Jabstein.
Right.
Lee, what do you think? Talk to me, Lee. We're going to talk, but before we get there, marketvitals.io, oy vey from the booth. I got an oy vey from the booth. That is so great. The Lions, Matt, the Lions continue their trajectory towards maybe the playoffs now. Now, I don't know. I thought I saw that they had like a 30% chance to make the playoffs now, up from zero.
They're in the hunt. Let's look at it here. You got Philly running away. Dallas isn't going to catch them, even with the 2-game lead with 4 to go. You got Vikings should win the division, even though Detroit should have beat them twice. They got lucky in the first one. Minnesota did. But yeah, I mean the Norris is done, except for will Dallas is in. I mean, look at the rest of it's been, and Seattle lost yesterday. So you got Washington and the Giants played this week. So one of those goes down. And then if the Lions can beat they were playing this week. They're playing the Jets, Lee's hapless Jets, who lost to the Bills, of course. It's in New York. So I expect New York to lose that game. And Detroit will be 500. And the crazy thing about their record is, like, I think 6 of their 7 losses were by 1 score. And, they lost to teams like the Eagles. They lost to a lot of good teams. But, Tampa Bay, they're going to win this division and be under 500 and host one of these.
They're limping.
They're going to host a game against a wild card team. So, right now you got Dallas for sure. And then it comes down to between Washington, the Giants, the Lions, I guess the Seahawks. Those are the leaders for the last 2 spots. Those 4 teams are battling for the last 2 spots.
It would seem to me that if you can run the table, you get in, right? If you can run the last 4.
If you can win. Yeah. So just win.
Just win. That's all we're saying. Just win. Yeah. All right, Matt. Let's get right to
it. Make Detroit great again.
We're going to get right to it, and today's episode of Absolute Horse. What is it? Oh yeah, it's Absolute Horse. Horse. Hold on a second. Horse shit. There it is. Absolute horse shit. Today's episode is going to lead right to price discovery, because there's a lot of price discovery going on, even though they don't want us to talk about it. You can't avoid it. Firstly, Elton John. All my life, I tried to use music to bring people together. Yet it saddens me to see how much misinformation is now being used to divide our world. Like, this is just happening. This one just blows me away. Like, the misinformation is just starting. And I've decided no longer use Twitter. You won't be missed, Elton and Elon. I get them mixed up sometimes. Given the recent change in policy, allowing misinformation to flourish unchecked. And then 5 times August says, you know what saddens me? Artists like you who kept silent. Especially, Matt, as the lies built up, like, at what point did you not say to yourself, wait a second, They said the spike was going to stay right there in my arm, but it traveled everywhere in my body. That's absolute horseshit.
Maybe eventually they're going to charge Trump with, murder because he's the one that,
I've said this for forever, Matt, that is his weak spot.
That's the only thing that's going to make these fuckers happy is if they do that.
Right.
I think so.
And this one from Elon, just one more lockdown, my king. My pronouns are prosecute Fauci. Now things get spicy because they've unleashed in the Twitter files all the suppression around the jab, alternate medications, the Great Barrington Agreement, where 10,000 doctors had signed early on. Like, why are we devoting everything to a jab and nothing to preventative medicine or early adoption of protocols? Matt, we talk about this and we've talked ourselves, like it just doesn't seem to matter to people that they're under their 6th jab. But at some point it matters in price discovery. So we got this one, and then we got, before we get to that price discovery, we got Massey calling out Albert Barula, and he says, turn on your comments, coward. Barula, the head of Moderna, correct?
Right.
And he's spouting about how patients shouldn't have to worry because we've taken care of it all behind the scenes. Like, you don't need to worry. Okay, but several things that you've said or haven't said turned out to be lies. I mean, it's just we're beating a dead horse here.
Well, but bring up no, but there's some new information. The latest all mortality charts,
and then this is the latest all mortality chart, just like you said. It's hard to see, but Hong Kong seeing a 34% spike in all case excess death.
And that's year over year, by the way. So that's after we started the jabs in 21, right. And then we've been doing them for 2 years. And so if you're not alerted, and even the US numbers are hideous, if the said 60% of the people in this country that may have taken at least one jab, right? So look at these numbers. I mean, I have friends that tell me, look at the all mortality, it was much higher before. I'm like, no, it's not true. Like, here's again, here are the facts. This isn't Matt's information. This isn't Bob's information. This is coming right from your CDC or whatever favored, hocus pocus outfit.
Right,
letter.
This one, Matt, I know it's hard to see in my background, so if you want to check it out, it's at the www.mortality.watch. Anyway, Matt, it all leads to price discovery. We have covered jab stocks for 3 years now on this trajectory. So let's look at them because this stuff matters.
Yeah, and again, Friday, Moderna got spanked, and we recommended being short last week. So, and again, I'm going to give you the short-term chart because we're down 7.5% today. That's $13. We were 185 on Thursday, and recall I was showing like a 30-minute chart before, and I said we were just putting in some time up here. We're just chopping, and it looks to me like this thing's going to roll over. So again, the chart didn't lie to us, or at least set up the risk accordingly. And this thing has crumbled again from 185 down here to 164. That's 10%, Bob. That's a huge move. And again, take some profits because this is still trading. We're not trading it for zero, but it seems to be, for me, it seems to be in a little bit of trouble again here. And it's just starting. So take some profits. But if it gets through this 160 level, very likely it's going to go back and test down here at least to the 130s, and again the all-time lows. I still think ultimately this thing's going to be a bigger fraud than Enron, and I can't tell you what's going to trigger that, what's going to happen. And if these statistics keep showing up the way they do, how things can happen differently than what we've been seeing here.
Well, for sure, if you are
crazier
short,
things have happened.
Right, if you caught this short, you got to be taking profits at this floor. We talk all the time, floors become ceilings, ceilings becomes floors. Take some profit here. And
take some, and then if it bounces, put it back on,
Exactly. And then if it can regain this value area, there's a lot more meat to expose to the downside here, for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, what about, I know that was...
Well, let's just look at
BNTX.
BioNTech. We haven't looked at that one in a while. We looked at Pfizer last week, so we'll pass on that. But BioNTech, again, recently had a move up here to 173 off 2% today. Again, slowly populating here, but this thing to me, I think is a short. I think you can be selling this all day, and I would continue to sell this all day. So
Get out and get your internet connection worked on, because it's too slow. It's like from the Stooges. It's gas slow.
No, I think it's a trading view thing, honestly, here. So because nothing else is having problems, and there's no problems with Zoom today. So it's a trading view thing.
Who had Zoom being fine today? Nobody. Nobody had it. Nobody had it. All right, Matt. We're gonna leave.
You know what? I wanted to get your thoughts. Speaking of dead, since I don't know if you caught, FTX is all over. He's giving interviews all over. He's going in front of Congress tomorrow. They're going to change all the rules. Blah blah blah. Right? Like the fucker is literally, again, just sitting there playing video games in the Bahamas, and we're supposed to be all geeking out with him.
But he's down to 100 grand in his of a personal net worth from 12 billion.
Still,
Matt, the guy is a fraud, and there's a deeper story to it.
And I don't know if we'll ever hear it. I don't know if we'll ever hear it.
Yeah, we will. Have some patience. Have some patience. The wheels of justice, they move very slowly. Matt, as we leave the Jabstein portion of our show here, I just wanted to bring this up. We've used Bob Moran several times on the show for his incredibly comedic, satirical, and spot on cartooning. Boy, he doesn't pull any punches here. How to prevent the next pandemic. Bill Gates is inmate 666, which is interesting, and just keep him away from the public. And maybe between him and Elon, with the Fauci thing, the hope, Matt, is that although the wheels of justice move very slowly, that in January, with the Republicans controlling the House and the investigative arm of Congress, maybe some more penetrating questions get asked. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe.
I don't. Again, you know how I feel about government. They're all the same. So, and when you have a House Republican and a Senate now Democratic, nothing's going to happen, Bob. So, but you can wish, you can hope.
My grandfather used to say, Matt.
What's that?
Wish in one hand, piss in the other, and see which one fills up first.
Right.
Seemingly,
a lot of piss and vinegar in the Heffernan house growing up.
Right, exactly. Where did I want to get to? Oh, I know what I wanted to get here. Again, Matt, we always just follow the money. North Carolina State Treasurer called on BlackRock's Larry Fink to resign or be removed due to a loss of confidence in the CEO as a result of his focus on environmental, social, and corporate governance (ESG) initiatives. Matt, nobody would care about environmental, social, or corporate governance initiatives if they were making money hand over fist. That's the problem, right? I mean, follow the money. And
the money's not interested.
Well, they're not interested because they're not making any money.
Because there's nothing there. It's the black, or it's the it's the SBF FTX model. I mean, it's all fake.
Matt, not only is it fake, but then when you look at this from the Daily Mail, energy firms ask snow-hit homes to cut electricity and gas from 5 to 7 tonight. Turn everything off. Huddle.
We know you're home. We know you're trying to have dinner. We know it's cold, but can you turn it off?
Would you all just huddle in a closet, please, from 5 to 7, group hug, while thousands of commuters face rush hour hell to get home tonight? We've talked about this polar vortex, Matt. I don't know. We've been on this story for at least 3 weeks with our great share and follow Heinrich Leopold on Twitter. And man, his prognosticating model's been spot on. As it's going to get cold. It's getting cold, like this collapse. Anyway, let's look at Natty, because this thing now to me looks like it gapped open last night, Matt, and
Yeah.
it's pulled off of the gap open a little bit. But for me, I think it will regroup. I think maybe 640. It's trading 673 now, as far as I can see. Maybe they can get them back down to 650 before buyers re-show up, because this cold snap is not going away anytime soon. And so demand is going to be through the roof. And the way the modeling is right now on standard deviation modeling, last time we were up to the 750 area, I was like, you've got to take profits. But the chart's a little bit different here right now. So just my thoughts. Why don't you bring it up on the, here it is. I'm actually showing it. This first time up to 750, this was actually sloping down. And let me go up, because I think it was a 2-day or 3-day window that I was looking at. It was here. It was up into this collar on the 2-day. And if we come out to the weekly, I think that was even more pronounced. The momentum level. Again, we racked it off of it, but this market looks like it's just putting in time here before another moonshot to the $10 area. That's what I'm thinking here. I don't think that the demand goes away to shore up the problem that's on the ground right now, and people are not going to just turn their heat off. I'm sorry, that's not happening. So bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, again, last week we were down here in the 550 range. We were saying gobble it up, gobble it up. Well, you traded up to 7 already this morning, and as you said, 675 or so right now, up 8% on the day. And this is again another huge move. 530 up to $7 is $1.70, which is again 30-40%. I mean, it's insane moves, just insane moves. So that is here. What was the Boyle? Let's look at Boyle, because that was another one that you wanted. It was the other ETF that you wanted to look at last week. And again, big gap up there. If you were buying it down, we were talking about it last week, I think $31. I mean, it was like 31, and now it's trading at $41. I mean, I don't know what else, again, we can do for you. Take some profits. Don't be a pig. Don't be a pig. Yeah, it can go back to 60, but when you get a gap up like this, it's easy to take profits and then buy. You could buy it here. You could buy it if you sold it right in the open. Then you're buying it here for $3 less. Like, you're already buying it less than what you sold it for, right? So that 41 was a good year. 25 up to here. Again, this is a 60% move, Bob, from now low up to where we are today. So this is in play. These are tradable, and don't be shy in taking profits.
No, for sure. You got to take profits. Please take profits. And again, I mean, we've been on this story for several weeks now, because, Bloomberg sharing several weeks ago that Europe was going to have a very mild winter this winter and next. Yet other shares and other information that you can find said 100% the opposite of what they were saying. It's so, please trust the chart.
Yeah, and on the flip side, we had talked about Netflix on Friday, how I loved the short, and look at this. I mean, we made the high on Friday morning, and this thing has reversed $20 already. So hopefully some of the folks in the marketvitals.io hopped on that idea. I mean, even if you just bought puts or sold calls, those have basically gone to zero. If you were selling the end of the years like we were selling 1230s, 345 strikes. I think I sold them at $5 or $6 on Friday, and they're already down to I don't know, somewhere in the twos. So again, this is silly. I mean, and we kind of filled a gap here. We got close to a gap, and that's what I was looking for. I was just waiting for this area and that type of blow off that we had on Friday, because there's no reason why Netflix was up. I think it was just the kind of the final squeeze, and we got back right up into this breakdown again. Ceilings and basements, right? Ceilings and basements. Here was your basement. We came back. Now this should be close to a ceiling where we traded to, at 330 area. So again, pay attention. There's a lot of good trades out there right now. And I think, you got the end of the year stuff. You got the Fed coming on Wednesday. You got CPI tomorrow. What if they raise rates by 3/4 on Wednesday? Not a half a point, but what if they do another 0.75? How do you think this market will react, Bob? Any thoughts on that? Because it's pretty quiet out there right now.
No, it is, and I think people are gearing up for the holidays. People are, I don't think the trading activity wants to be in this market at this time of the year, right?
Right.
But I will say this on the bonds, they put in a terrible candle last week, and I don't know what the Fed's is going to do, and I don't know what CPI is going to be, but for me, I'm kind of in line with your timing on these two-month cycles, and I am not very optimistic going forward. That and I'll say this: I'm not optimistic that we trade back above 4,100 or back below, 37 the rest of the year. I think we could I think we could for the rest of this year we could be stuck
rest of this year. Yeah, we're not going anywhere the rest of this year. That's for sure. Yeah, unless
it's not for sure. It's guaranteed probably, but maybe there's a surprise. I don't know. I mean, who knows how they can cook the CPI number, but for sure they're going to try. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's a terrible weekly candle in the bonds to put in basically 5 weeks in a row, nice fat green candles, and they put in. I know you hate the word doji, but they put in a doji candle on the weekly, and that's the only thing I look at in candlesticks is the doji formation, and it's relatively solid, man. It is solid.
Well, we had a little rally this morning on the bonds. They got them back to 144, but now they're back down, almost to the low of Friday. So, where we open on Sunday. So they're testing that again. And if that falls through again, to me, it looks like, we're done. Like that top was put in last week at that 146 level. And again, if they cut on Wednesday, if they say, hey, we're cutting 50 points, then I'm wrong. Then we'll go to a new high.
Or even if they just go super dovish on their outlook, who knows? I mean, people are looking for reasons to buy, but it's it's so much.
Again, I see the bond continuation, bear market continuing.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I don't see anything good coming out of bonds. I think money will be leaving and continue to leave this country via the bonds, and that's what's going to happen. They're going to continue to sell them. So, which is going to be weird because again, I think possibly at some point we make a low in equities in the first half of next year, and then equities start taking off again, and bonds will continue lower. So, and I don't see inflation. It may be squelched a little bit, but I don't see it getting under 5% for a long time. I just don't.
That is going to be painful for a long time.
Yep.
You love me long time, Joe, with your inflation. Your inflation. All right, man. What else do we got? Who do we got tonight? Monday Night Football. Let's talk football.
Who do we have tonight?
All right, here. Let me just do this before we talk that, because tonight you're going to have the treat of your life as we move into the Manja TV kitchen, and I tell you about Iberian pork, Matt. Lee, you can turn the show off now. We're talking pork. Iberian pork, like the contract that we trade here in the United States, is called lean hogs, and it's lean hogs for a reason. It's the genetics of that lean hog, which means there's very little fat content. In fact, the only fat really on the hog is in the belly for the bacon. But there are these other breeds, these old world breeds, Iberian pork being one of them, a very fatty pig, right? And the meat is marbled almost like a Wagyu steak, right? And when we cook these things tonight for the pork tacos, you are going to be blown away at the flavor difference than normal pork. Iberian pork, and it is not cheap. Let me just tell you that it is not cheap. Pasture raised generally. And the Manja TV Kitchen now working on a new rub for pork and beef and proteins. And I can't wait to share it tonight in the test kitchen over Monday Night Football. All right, so who do we got? Who we have?
We have the Patriots playing the Cardinals. Two, again, mediocre teams. Patriots, believe it or not, 6-6, and Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, horrible 4-8 this year. Who
Yeah.
would have thunk it? Who would have
Yeah,
thunk
they
it?
they had a hard time with the schedule this year for sure. New England
Yeah,
-2. Thank you,
that
Lee.
is the thing about the NFL. You have a good year, you play a tougher schedule. You have a bad year, you play an easier schedule, supposedly.
All right,
No,
man. Let me get this out there right now because we talked last week about the actually we didn't talk about it on the show, but the Western Athletic Conference, right? And what conferences are merging?
I don't remember.
The South the athletic.
Southland or something. Yeah, I don't remember.
Here's my idea. You take all of these, what are there, 5 power conferences,
Yeah, right now.
right? Well, this is what they should do. They should take all the rest of the D1 schools, right?
Mhm.
And make and division it, right? And make it a mega conference, right? And then treat it just like Premier soccer in the UK, right? And you get relegated. There's the top division of the
Yeah, like you're saying, like if you're Northwestern this year, you're going to the WAC next year.
well, Northwestern gets a bye because they're still in the Big Ten, even though I'm talking about all the rest of the schools, division.
Yeah.
I don't know how many other conferences there are other below the top 5 in D1. I don't know. There's probably 4 or 5.
Probably another 5, 6.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you make one mega conference,
Right.
And then you, how exciting would it be for, like, University of California, Irvine, right, to level up, right? They level up. They're in the top tier of that 6th division.
Right.
I don't know. There's something about the relegation and a program like, dude, you got relegated. you got relegated.
You got relegated
Down.
I'm not in. I think that's a good idea. I don't have a problem with it. Let's say some nice prayers, everybody, for Mike Leach. He's going through. He had a heart attack.
Brutal.
Brutal. One of the best personalities, I believe, in college football. I love Mike Leach. Everywhere he goes, he wins. The game's never over when that guy's on the sideline. Love the guy. He's full of philosophy, smarter than shit. Everybody laughs at him, but he's smarter than shit. And so let's say some nice prayers for Mike Leach to get well and to his family during this holiday season. And then Tom Brady takes his plane. He takes his G6 and cries and goes home. Fuck that, I'm going home, angry Tom Brady, as he leaves the stadium without a shower. Well, he probably didn't stink much because they only had 7 points. So he stunk on the field, but he stunk on the field, but he left everything out there. So sorry, Tommy. But he said he doesn't want the fans watching this shit. So good thing he's still in first place. He still has a chance.
Yeah, he has no chance. Although, yeah, crazy. Like, did the Texans end up beating the Cowboys? I mean, a 1-10 team.
The Cowboys won.
They came back. I mean, they were close, right? They were close to losing to a 1-10 team.
Yeah, I think they only won by one score again. So yeah,
and they were losing with like.
I'm kind of like you. Once college football and who won Army Navy, that big game that everybody really cares about. Who won? I don't know.
I did not watch sports this weekend, man. I did not watch sports.
All
right, that's what we got, man. What else? Anything else? Anything else jumping out at you on a slow ticker Monday, waiting on CPI tomorrow?
Yeah, no, it's quiet. The dollar's up. It's interesting that like the dollar's up and the SPOs are up. So a lot of Tesla's down big, $9 again. That thing. I think there's a lot of tax selling going on in Tesla. And again, if you want to buy Tesla, wait until it's $120. It's going lower. So, but it's interesting. Everybody's favorite trading stocks, and that has forever been a favorite of everybody, but hasn't been having a good December so far. We opened at 200 and it's trading down here at 170. So it's down a solid 15%. Tesla is for the month, just for the month. Forget about the year. It's had a big down year. So I think you'll see that, again, this is where you see a lot of these games, Bob. You see a lot of if they've been selling them, maybe they'll buy them, cover them up, take book the profits. If they've been long, they're going to book so you got both sides, right? You got, if you were long Tesla, now you're taking the tax loss and taking it off your books. And then maybe they'll put them back on in the first part of the year. All those games that go on with equities, which good luck trying to figure out which side has the edge there, because I don't know.
Yeah, this chart looks just god awful.
It's awful.
It looks god awful. I mean, it can't hold this 170 area, 165 to 170. I mean, why not trade all the way back down to $62? That's what I got, man.
Yeah, it's not pretty. And did you see Elon in the Bay yesterday? Dave Chappelle was doing a live show and he called him up.
I did not.
Yeah, so he calls up Elon and the fucking crowd. It was all boos and all yays. It was just the world we're living in. I mean, I was just like, wow. Like it was, a lot of cheering and a lot of cheering and jeering. It was hard to tell the two apart.
Right.
Yeah, it was not pretty. It was not pretty, Bob.
All right. Well, that's what we got. What you can do is cook for your crew, right? Cook for your crew. Go to Amazon.com and buy some Shrimp Mojo. Soon to be on the board is Steak Mojo, or I'm not sure what we're going to name it. Something Mojo. That's what we got. All right, Matt. Thank you. Thank you, Lee.